The massive biker collapsed to his knees in the hospital parking lot, tears streaming down his tattooed face as a complete stranger handed him an envelope. Inside, a check that would save his daughter's life. But what led to this moment will break your heart. Before we dive in, drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. And if you believe in the power of kindness, hit that subscribe button and give us a like. Now, let's get into this incredible story. Phoenix, Arizona, July 2023. Marcus Reaper Sullivan wasn't the kind of man people approached. At 6'4", with arms covered in skulls and flames, the Hell's Angels patch on his leather vest told everyone exactly who he was. For 20 years, he'd lived by the code: brothers first, everyone else. Keep your distance. But tonight, as he sat in the harsh fluorescent lights of St. Joseph's Hospital, none of that mattered. His 7-year-old daughter, Emma, lay in the ICU fighting for her life. 3 weeks earlier, Emma had complained of headaches. Marcus thought it was nothing, maybe too much screen time, not enough sleep. But when she collapsed during recess at school, everything changed in an instant. The diagnosis hit like a freight train: a rare brain tumor, aggressive, life-threatening, and it required immediate surgery. The surgeon's words still echoed in Marcus's head. Without the operation, she has maybe 6 months. With it, she has a fighting chance. There was just one problem. The surgery cost $180,000, and Marcus's insurance, it covered barely a third of that. He'd done everything. Sold his custom Harley, the bike he'd built with his own hands over 5 years, emptied his savings account, even pawned his father's Vietnam War medals, something that tore his soul apart. His brothers in the club had rallied too, organizing fundraisers, poker runs, benefit concerts. But after weeks of scraping and fighting and begging, they'd only raised $97,000. He was $83,000 short, and time was running out. The surgery was scheduled for tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. If Marcus couldn't come up with the money by midnight tonight, they'd have to cancel. And the tumor? It wouldn't wait. Marcus sat in the hospital cafeteria at 9 p.m., staring at his phone. He'd called everyone he knew, reached out to loan companies, all denied because of his credit, even considered things he swore he'd never do again, the kind of things that had landed him in prison 15 years ago. But he couldn't go back to that life. He'd promised Emma's mother before she died of cancer 2 years ago that he'd stay clean, stay straight, be the father Emma deserved. Now it felt like the universe was punishing him for every mistake he'd ever made. Rough night? Marcus looked up. An older man, maybe 65, stood holding a coffee cup. He wore a simple button-down shirt and jeans. His eyes were kind, too kind for someone talking to a guy like Marcus. "You could say that," Marcus muttered, looking away. The man didn't leave. Instead, he sat down across from Marcus, uninvited, unafraid. "I've seen you here the past 3 weeks," the man said quietly. "Every single day. Same chair, same worried look. I'm guessing your daughter? If you believe in the power of kindness, drop a comment telling us where you're watching from, and hit that subscribe button and give us a like. Now, let's continue this incredible story." Marcus's jaw tightened. He didn't like talking about his business, especially not with strangers. But something about the exhaustion, the desperation, the absolute fear, it broke something inside him. "Yeah," Marcus whispered. "Brain tumor. Surgery's tomorrow. I'm $83,000 short, and I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do." The words tumbled out before he could stop them, and once they started, he couldn't hold back. He told this stranger everything: about Emma, about selling everything he owned, about failing as a father when his little girl needed him most. The man listened, didn't interrupt, didn't judge, just listened. When Marcus finally finished, he felt hollow, empty. "I'm sorry," the man said softly. "No parent should ever have to face this." Marcus nodded, wiping his eyes roughly with the back of his hand. "Yeah, well, life ain't fair." The man stood up. "No, it's not, but sometimes people are..." He walked away before Marcus could respond. Marcus sat there for another hour, trying to figure out his next move. There wasn't one. He'd hit every wall, exhausted every option. At 10:47 p.m., his phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Is this Marcus Sullivan?" "Yeah, who's this?" "This is Dr. Patel's office at St. Joseph's. I'm calling about Emma's surgery tomorrow." Marcus's heart stopped. This was it. they were canceling. We wanted to inform you that the remaining balance on Emma's surgery has been paid in full. You're all set for 6 a.m. The phone nearly slipped from Marcus's hand. Wait, what? What do you mean paid in full? An anonymous donor covered the remaining $83,000 about 20 minutes ago. Emma's surgery is fully funded. Marcus couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Who paid it? I'm sorry, sir. The donor requested to remain anonymous. The call ended. Marcus sat frozen in disbelief. This couldn't be real. Things like this didn't happen to people like him. He'd spent his whole life being judged, feared, written off, and yet someone had just saved his daughter's life. He stumbled out to the parking lot, his legs barely holding him up. The cool night air hit his face, but he barely felt it. His mind was spinning, trying to process what had just happened. Then he saw him, the older man from the cafeteria, walking toward his car. Something clicked. Marcus ran, actually ran, his boots pounding against the pavement. Hey! Hey! The man turned, calm as ever. Marcus stopped a few feet away, breathing hard. Was that you? The man smiled gently. Your daughter deserves a chance. You deserve a chance. But why? You don't even know me. I'm nobody. I'm just You're a father who loves his daughter, the man interrupted. That's all I needed to know. Marcus felt his knees buckle. This massive tattooed biker, a man who'd faced down rivals, survived prison, lived a life most people would run from, dropped to his knees in that parking lot and sobbed. The stranger knelt beside him, placing a hand on his shoulder. What's your name? Marcus choked out between tears. David, the man said softly, and I lost my daughter 15 years ago to leukemia. We couldn't afford the treatment she needed, and I've lived with that regret every single day since. Marcus looked up, his eyes red and swollen. When I saw you sitting there, David continued, his own voice breaking, fighting so hard for your little girl, I knew I had to help. I couldn't save my daughter, but maybe I could save yours. Marcus couldn't speak, couldn't form words. He just wrapped his arms around this stranger, this angel, and cried like he hadn't cried since Emma's mother died. The next morning at 6 a.m., Emma went into surgery. Marcus sat in the waiting room, his brothers from the club surrounding him, but he kept looking toward the hospital entrance, hoping David would come back. He never did. 7 hours later, Dr. Patel emerged with the news. The surgery was successful. They'd removed the entire tumor. Emma would need treatment and monitoring, but she was going to live. Marcus broke down again, right there in front of everyone. Emma's hair was growing back in patches, but her smile, that never left. Marcus had tried everything to find David, searched the hospital records, asked staff, even posted on social media. Nothing. The man had vanished like he was never there, but his impact, that remained. Marcus started volunteering at the hospital, helping other families navigate financial hardships. His club organized a foundation called Emma's Angels, raising money for children who couldn't afford medical care. In 6 months, they'd helped 12 families. Marcus got a tattoo on his forearm, a small angel with the name David underneath. A reminder that even in the darkest moments, even when you feel utterly alone, kindness exists. Sometimes an angel shows up wearing a button-down shirt and jeans, and sometimes they save everything. Marcus never saw David again, but he didn't need to. That stranger taught him the most important lesson of his life. We all have the power to change someone's world. Emma's 13 now, healthy and thriving. And Marcus, he's still riding, still wearing his vest, still living by the code. But now, his code includes something new: pay it forward. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to believe in miracles. Drop a comment telling us your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible true stories. Because kindness, it's the most powerful force on earth.